and welcome back to R.M.Aviation for yet another YouTube video, or Spotify if you're on the Spotify. So, today we're going to be talking about the Boeing B29 Superfortress. Now, for those of you who don't know what that was a war machine during the Second World War. Now, it was used very heavily in the bombings and stuff, so I'm just going to go through what it was, the type of aircraft it was, its design, and how it played a key and crucial role in the war around World War II. So, if you also would like to take this time now, like and subscribe, as all likes and subscribes really help us to work out our channel, keep us going, and it also shows us that there is a network of people out there who are interested in this information. So let's get started. So, we're going to cover its design, its performance, its operational history, its innovations, and its legacy to this day. So, here's a timeline of the design and development. So, the first design of this aircraft started in 1938. Its first flight took place on September 21st, 1942, and entered into service in 1944. Now, there was a total of 3,970 of these aircraft produced. And its specifications, what were they? So, its attributes. Its wingspan was 141 feet and 3 inches, or 43.5 meters. Its length was 99 feet and 0 inches, or 30.18 meters. Its height was 27 feet and 9 inches, or 8.45 meters. Its empty weight was 74,500 lb, or 33,793 kilos. Its max takeoff weight was 133,050 and 500 pounds, or 6,555 kilos. Now, what engines did it use? So it had 4 Wright R335023 duplex Cyclone radial engines with 2,200 horsepower each. Now let's talk performance. So, we all know this aircraft was designed to run bombs for the US and also any other military that wanted to purchase the aircraft. But what was its performance? How far could it go? All that kind of stuff. So, we're going to work on a couple of metrics on this one. So, we're going to go max speed, range, service ceiling, bomb load, and arraignment. So, the metric for the max speed, so we were looking at roughly 357 miles per hour, or 575 kilometers per hour, at 30,000 feet. Now, its max range was 3,250 miles, or 5,230 kilometers. Its service ceiling was 31,850 feet, or 9,710 meters. Now, what was its bomb load? So, its bomb load was 2,000 pounds, or 9,000 kilos. Now, the armament was 10 to 13 50 caliber machine guns and 120 millimeter cannon in early models. And what was its technological innovations? So, one of the many things it featured that not a lot of airlines at the time did, or aircraft at the time had, was a pressurized cabin. It was one of the first military aircraft with pressurized crew compartments, and it was improving the crew endurance. Now, it had a remote-controlled gun turret, 4 remotely controlled turrets controlled via periscopes sights using analog computers for aiming. It had a CFCS, or a central fire and control system, allowing a single gunner or command to control multiple turrets. A tricycle landing gear, a relatively new design that improved the ground handling. And it had a high aspect ratio wing, enhancing the altitude performance and fuel efficiency. So, we're now going to step forward and we're going to look at its operational history. So, a few of the many key events it was in included the Pacific Theater. Primary role was strategic bombing of Japan from bases in the marinas Tiniana, Saipan, and Guam. Notable operations included firebombing of Tokyo on the 9th and the 10th of March in 1945, 100,000 civilian deaths, the deadliest bombing raid in history. There was also the atomic bomb missions of Hiroshima in August 6, 1945, which was B29 Enola Gay, and the Nagasaki in on August 9th in 1945 by the B-29 called Bukska. Now, the lesser use in Europe, the B-29 was never used in the European theatre. Its long-range capability was unnecessary in that context. Now, what variants of the B-29 are there? So the B-29 had many variants, including the B-29A, which had an improved wing and product refinement. There was the B-29B, which was a stripped-down version focused on speed and bombing while reducing defensive arraignment. The EB-29, which was an experimental test platform, for example, was for launching aircraft like the Bell X-1. The KB-29, which was the tanker variant, and the F-13, which was a reconnaissance aircraft. Now, what was the strategic impact of this aircraft? So it shifted bombing doctrine, so highlighted the effectiveness of high-altitude precision bombing through the incendiary raids and proved more destructive. It enabled nuclear delivery, only aircraft capable of delivering atomic bombs at the time. It contributed to the Japanese surrender. Its strategic role, especially with the nuclear delivery, exchanged the course of the war. Now, what was its legacy post this war? So, post-war use, it was heavily used during the Korean War, mostly conventional bombing, and eventually phased out by the B-50 Superfortress and the B-47 Stratojet. Now, I'm going to look at the Soviet Tupolev Tu-4. Now, this was the USSR's reverse-engineered captured a B-29 bomber and created the Tu-4, nearly identical clone in the Cold War. Now, the surviving aircraft. So, the Angola Gay is preserved at the National Air and Space Museum, and Boxcar displayed at the National Museum of the United States Air Force in Dayton, Ohio. Now, in summary, why is the B-29 mattered? So, the features included technological advancements. It set the stage for jet bombers and long-range strategic air focuses. It also had a strategic role. So, it dominated the Pacific bombing campaign, and it was pivotal in atomic bombing. So, the production scale of this aircraft. One of the most expensive and ambitious aircraft projects of World War II, and that was in the world. And the legacy of this aircraft, it was a foundation for post-war US Air Force strategy, as well as also aircraft design. So, I thank you all for tuning in to today's episode of R.M.Aviation, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. And I'll be talking about the Boeing 757 MAX potential. So, I'm going to discuss that in detail. And before you head off, if you have lasted this long, I thank you so much, as it means the world to me and my team that you hang around to be with me for this length of my journey through my YouTube channel. So if you want to like and subscribe and leave a comment, I'd love to hear your opinions on this, and I know some people may even have some stories to tell about this aircraft. So leave them in the comments and I'll have a conversation. So see you at the next episode.